Hello everyone, I'm back again, and this is a bit of a follow-up to my collection update for 2026. This is Seeking a Thread. I've come upon a time here, I've sort of been delaying it for a few years, where I have to make some room, and I'm always purging and always, pruning the collection and trimming the garden, as Mats Gustafsson might say, but I think it's about time to go a little bit further, and so I'm going to be making a pretty big push starting now, a 5-year project to listen to every single record here, including 45s, including box sets. The CDs, I constantly am listening through in the car. That's like a separate listening I'm always doing. But records we talk about here, right? So yeah, I have 5 years as my planned amount of time that this might take. Now, it might be quicker. I don't think it'll take me longer than that. But it's going to be an ongoing focus while I do other things. While, of course, yes, I am going to be acquiring new records. I'm not stopping buying new things. It should take a bit of a dip this year in terms of how many records I bring home, but we'll see. Who knows? And things could pop up. I have some other things planned, but I want to listen to every record that's here. I want to touch every record and give it a spin. Now, I routinely pull out and put records on for my radio show, so I'm randomly taking lots of different things, but I want to at least listen to everything. And I will say that giving it at least a half of a side, I'll know within a side whether I need to keep the record or not. Yes, there might be things I miss, things that the second side's better than the first side, vice versa. It's okay. If some things leave because of that, what are you going to do? But 5 years, starting today, starting 2026, I've already started listening to every record. I'm making notes on each one, quick synopsis, like a quick 2 lines. I've made a database. I exported my Discogs collection, and there's notes to be made on each one with a simple yes or no for purging. I started by just pulling 125 records that I know I probably don't want. So I'm listening to those first, and those are all over the place. And there'll be a purge sale probably towards the end of this month, January. After that, I'm diving into all the psychedelic music, psychedelic rock. UK and US pretty much first. I'm going to start with that. Like straight up psychedelic rock. Probably not touching psychedelic folk yet, because that will be a little tougher, I think. I predict I'll probably purge a good deal of psych and garage psych. I have a fair amount of garage, but we'll see. I want to really trim this to like my favorite psych records, and I did a top 100 countdown like 3 or 4 years ago now. So you might assume all those would stay, but maybe I've even grown out of some of those. So 5-year project, listening to every record, starts now. I've done about, like I said, I started with those records I'm purging, but those are in the collection. So I've listened to maybe 50 or 60 of those records, amongst other things. And I've mainly decided to purge what I've listened to, but this is a pile so far that I've decided to keep. Now, it makes sense that a lot of these are cheap. There's no sense in purging something that you really can't get more than $8 to $10 for, to me, unless it's just absolutely doesn't need to be here. For the most part, there's definitely some ones I'm like, this doesn't need to be here, and it's only worth $5, and I'll just figure out something to do with it. But, so these that I'm going to show is just a little example of what I've pulled that I actually enjoyed, and it's going to stay. And primarily because, like I said, it makes more sense to keep them. If it's something that you only like, maybe don't love, or you only think is okay, and it's worth over $30, $40, or even $30, $40 itself, you should sell that record. I mean, that's what I'm thinking at my current stage. And I have a house full of records. Well, not a house full. If I had a house full, I wouldn't need to be purging. The records are everywhere. There's 5,400 records here. I'm at capacity. So it's time to prune. It's time to prune the hedges. And 5-year project. If anyone wants any feedback on this, if anyone's curious about some of my notes or how I'm doing it, check in. And the psych one, I'll figure out a way to chronicle that specifically. We'll see. Don't know. But like I said, I have a database where I'm making notes of everything, and that's just even good to have, just so I know what stuff sounds like, you know, of the things I keep, that is. So let me know what you think. Psych should take me a good 3-4 months, I would think, to do, maybe even half the year to do. We'll see where I go from there. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here. So here's what I've kept. And we're listening to Michael Garrison. I decided to keep this, In the Regions of Sun Return. I remember getting this at the beginning of last year. I went to Syracuse on a solo dig and found this. This is a private press on the Windspell Records, 1979. This is a nice little synth, sort of cosmic, new agey record, sort of you know, typical of that time. Like I said, this is a $10 album. I found this for I think $8 in Syracuse at Soundgarden, and it's a pretty easy to find if anyone's interested. That's what we're listening to. I decided to keep it. I'm like, I like this. It's a sort of right kind of synth feel that I want. It doesn't feel too cheesy or anything like that. He's playing, I think is it all synthesizers? Just about. I believe there's some guitar in this, but yeah, Michael Garrison, in the Regions of Sun Return. Nice one. I think he's got a few others, which I haven't really heard. As you know, I mainly am not collecting reissues. I'm mainly selling those. That's an easy pull right now, but there are some that I'm keeping. Just because I feel like keeping them. Maybe the original's out of reach. Maybe I just don't feel like I need the original, but I like the reissue, and this is one. John Bender's Plaster Falling. It's really nicely done. It's numbered. This one is anyway. It's textured. Now the original comes with actual plaster in it, and it's pretty expensive, and I think a lot of the time the records were damaged for obvious reasons, but it's a really cool art piece, you know. I wouldn't mind getting that or finding that, but for some reason I listened to this and I looked at it, I'm like, you know what, I think I'm good with this reissue, which I never say. This is the blue first edition. John Bender is a, you know, a private press, you know, synthesist. This is the reissue here, as I said. He talks all about the original pressing. Now he's got a few records, I think 3 or 4 that are all pretty difficult to find. Pop Surgery might be the hardest one to find. That's where he does pop, so to speak. But all the tracks are just 43B 6 Station, 424B Plaster. Those are all the tracks. I believe it was New York based. Yeah, I think so. I also have I Don't Remember Anything, yeah, a reissue of that too, which I haven't listened to. I haven't re-listened to that yet. So yeah, surprisingly, unless I come across the original and it looks good and feels good and checks boxes, I'm good here. This is a nice reissue by Superior Vital. Yeah, I'm actually saying that, keeping the reissue. I pulled this out probably knowing I'd keep it, but I just wanted to double check because I haven't listened to this one in a while. I've always loved this band. I've talked about them recently, but this one I forgot. I'm like, maybe this one's not very good, but no, this is great. Jackie O Motherfucker, The Blood of Life. This is on the Fire Records label from 2008. I bought this when it came out. This has got 3 songs on the first side that really feel like stripped down, almost like Palace type stuff. And I think this is like a $15 record. It's like these long, sort of like haunted acoustic, but not acoustic, sort of sparse folk-ish, but done in their style, so very broken, as I called it, broken folk. And then the B-side is The Blood of Life, which is really one of their more experimental pieces. So Tom Greenwood is doing the vocals and guitar. The first 3 tracks, they do a version of Hey Mr. Sky, which they've done other times. I love the song Lost Jimmy Whalen. I played that on my radio show this past week. And it's a small group here. Nick Bindeman, guitar, vocals as well. Dana Valatka, electronic drums and turntable. A Danny Asaki drum kit. So it's a small group. Usually it's a big collective. So I recommend checking this one out, though. The Blood of Life by Jackie O Motherfucker. Lauren Connors, somebody I really love or somebody I really don't need. It depends. Some of his records are not for me, but when they are, they're great. And there's a bunch of archival releases that are on LP only and some CD or tape only, and this is one of them. This was originally issued as a CD in 1998 on Roadcone, Evangeline, and this is excellent. It's got these really haunted little blues, his version of blues, ballads, and then some straight up noise drone that's on here too. The track The Bridegroom of Snow, 7 minutes 45 seconds, is one of those noisy sort of tape experimental side, droney things. And then all the little acoustic haunted ballads are quick songs, a minute and 30 seconds. This is beautiful. Evangeline on the Recital label. I think it's gettable and everything. From 2017. Next is one I discussed with Jonas in the Flying Nun video. Yeah, I pulled out a Flying Nun to potentially purge. I thought maybe this one maybe wasn't all that great, and it was worth a little more than I would have even expected. Marie and the Atom, Yellow Read Aloud. This is a pretty early one. I think it's from 83. Yeah. 83. And this feels like a Marine Girls or Young Marble Giants or Sixpence None the Richer even. It's two women, I think, doing these really stripped down sort of post-punk-esque. I wouldn't call it post-punk, but Marine Girls is a good analog to it, just a plain back. And it's, it's hard for me to get rid of an early Flying Nun release with the custom labels. This is a pretty basic custom label, but yeah, I would have gotten rid of it if it didn't hit for me, and it did, so I'm keeping it. It's 4 songs. Actually 5. Sarah Westwood, Virginia Wurr, Gil Civil, keyboards, banjo, vocals, guitar, viola, violin. Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by that. And bass. So it was a cool one. And actually, it kind of made me want to get the other EP I don't have, so. Keeping Marie and the Atom. Yeah, I pulled this out to sell. I'll probably sell the other archival release, but I felt like I need to keep Susan Ciani, the Buckla concerts. A West Coast sort of analog to the Moog synthesizer. It was basically her demoing the Buckla for a performance piece. And that's what this was. Concert at WBAI. Actually, it was in the East Coast, but Buckla was based in the West Coast. And I think they were bringing it to the East Coast to show and basically do a demo performance. So concert, side A is a long piece by Gianni at the WBAI Free Music Store, and side B is at Phil Nieblock's Loft. Finders Keepers. Originally issued in many years ago, but this is from the 2024 repress, but this is an archival release either way, so yeah, I don't think I need the other one, which I'll probably sell, that came out after this, but this is a classic, I think, and just worth keeping. This next one, I might decide to sell this actually, but for now I decided to keep it just because it's worth a good deal and it's out of print. This is Patricia Wolf, See Through, on the Ballmat label. If you ever see the Ballmat label, all the artwork has this similar style, and I do love the artwork. This is 2022, and it's all instruments done by Patricia Wolf. Really nice packaging and everything. That's part of it for me. But I've had a few other releases from this label, and they weren't quite for me. But this one was cool. Yeah, more composer, synth, sort of fourth world, that sort of modern sound that's happening. I think I'm going to give it one more listen, but for now I decided to keep it. It kept me captured enough, and felt like there was a little bit of variance to it, and a little bit of an abstract quality that I didn't quite expect, that made it a little more interesting for me. But check this out, Patricia Wolf, See Through. She's got a bunch of records, and I think this is the only one on Ballmat, but nice one. This I'll keep. I love the primitive guitar thing, even though he's doing something a little more sort of in a bigger band setting, but he definitely comes from that tradition. William Tyler, Impossible Truth, his second album, first from Merge Records. I listened to this a ton when it came out. I loved it. It's very more of Americana than, the primitive folk thing, or like I said, that's in his playing. And this is really good. It's very cheap these days. No one's really looking for it. It's from 2013, and he was known for coming up with Silver Jews and Lamb Chop, playing guitar. And he had an album on Tompkins Square, which is in my Purge pile to listen to. And then he signed to Merge Records for Impossible Truth. And I remember us listening to this a ton when my daughter was born, so there's a sentimental value to this one too. And I just hadn't heard it in a long time. I wonder if it would still resonate with me, and it did. So, really nice album. Great playing, beautiful tone and everything. Very golden, as you can see by the cover. So I'm going to keep that. And these next two by the same band, both released on the Castle Face label, OC's, John Dwyer's label. These are dirt cheap, like 10 and under. They're by the Mallard. Probably not a band anymore, pretty sure they're not. This is a really great cover. This is textured. This is great, like synth punk, garage punk. Really nice packaging on this one. I really like this almost obelisk here. Some real catchy. This really feels like the early aughts, sort of like garage punk that was happening in a lot of the indie labels at the time. But this came out. Well, I just pulled out the insert. I think this record is probably 10 years old. 2012. So this is, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not a band anymore. But worth, if you're interested in checking out, do. It's pretty cheap. Finding Meaning and Deference. Great texture. I really love the artwork to it. And the other record I found to be just as good. I had these two. I'm like, let's play these things. This is Still in the Shrink S on Blood. The newest shit from San Francisco. Yes, there's from San Francisco. And I think this comes... this is recorded before, a year before, so this is their... maybe, I think their first album. Again, on Castle Face. Always a different logo. That's one cool thing about the Castle Face logo. The Mallard. Not Mother Mallard, local Ithaca person. David Borden. But good punky, a little bit synth, influenced indie, it's all that stuff together. Good chops, good songwriting. So that's just the first of many, I think, that'll come on the heels of me listening to my entire collection, 5,000 plus records. That includes everything I just got too, so there's plenty of listening for me to do, and I'm looking forward to it, actually. It's fun to listen to stuff that you have and be like, this is really great. And then it's also like, listening to something like, why is this here? This does not need to be here. So it'll be rewarding. And like I said, stay tuned for a Purge sale. I'll make a separate post about that. And stay tuned for my progress going through all the psych. I'm not like getting out of psychedelic rock or psychedelic 60s psych. I definitely still love it. There's a bunch of records I would never sell, I'm sure, and there's stuff I'm still looking for. So I'm just sort of getting, it's sort of, I used to be a huge percentage of what I look for, so that's just changing a bit. So anyway, that's it. Let me know what you think. 5-year project, listening to the entire record collection. See if I can do it. All right, later.